Alrighty, welcome back, and in this video we are going to talk about controllers, and I will give you a brief run through of what the controllers do again. So the models interact with our database, our controllers contain our application logic, and our views contain our design and layouts that we display to the user. So the controllers is what contains the guts of our application logic. So let's go ahead and go back to our example app, and let's go to app http routes.php. So inside of here you can see that it contains a lot of clutter and too much code. We don't want to have our routes.php have a whole bunch of code in it. It should just be a place where all of our routes are specified. So we could say this route goes to this controller and this method. Let me go ahead and show you what I mean by that. But first we need to create a customer controller. So we could always just create a new file inside of controllers, but we do have a couple cool tools that Laravel provides for us, and one of them is the PHP Artisan command. So if we run PHP Artisan, we can see a list of the available commands that we have for us, and one of those commands is the make controller. So we can say PHP Artisan make controller, and we want to make the customer controller. So if we create that, we go back to our controllers folder, and we can see this customer controller.php, and it already contains a lot of the functions that we might want to use in here. It has an index, create, store, show. You can always just delete all of these if you need to and create your own methods inside of there. But let's go ahead and just use the default controller right now. So our routes.php, let's say that we have our route get customer, and you pass it an ID, and then it displays information about that customer. Let's just go to that route real quick to show you an example. So we have customer/1, and we need to start up our Laravel application on localhost 8000. So we have hello, my name is Tony, and then we have my first order and my second order. So instead of all of this content right here, we want to just copy this, and we want to map this to a controller. So this is going to go to our customer controller, and then we could just say the @ symbol and then which method that we want this to go to. So let's go ahead and make this go to our show method. So let's save that, go back to our customer controller, and let's see, we do have a show method right here. It has show, and then it passes the ID, so this is exactly what we need. So let's just go ahead and make sure that we've hit this route. Let's reload, and sure enough, we get an echo of hit. So this is where we will want to paste our code. So let me save that and let me reload. App HTTP controllers app customer not found. And we actually need to use app/customer as customer. So we need to tell it which customer to look for. So let's go ahead and see if that will work. Let's reload, and sure enough, we have the exact same output that we had before. But now you can see inside of our routes.php file, we don't have all of that logic inside of our route, and it's a lot more readable and easier to manage. So let's go ahead and do the same with a lot of the other routes inside of our application. So this get customer, it really doesn't do much, but let's go ahead and just map a method to this. So I'm going to copy this, and I will map this to my customer controller, and I'll just call this get customer. So inside of our customer controller, that we could then create a new public function and call this get customer. And again, we can just use the customer, since we're telling it at the top to use app/customer as customer. So let's save that and go to get_customer. So we're just making sure that all of our routes work. And sure enough, that one works as well. And back to our routes.php. And let's do one more for the orders. So let's go ahead and create a new orders controller. Let's go back to our terminal and PHP Artisan make controller order controller. Okay, great. So we have orders. Maybe we just want to map this to our order controller index method. So this will map to order controller at index. I will save that, go into my order controller, and here's my index function right here, and I will just paste that in there. And again, we are going to want to tell our controller where to look for this order class right here. So we will remove that, and we will say use app/order as order. Let's save that, and let's go ahead and go to our localhost 8000/orders, and we need to start up our server again and reload, and sure enough we get all of our orders right there. So I hope you can see just how powerful this is and how manageable that it makes your project, because now you can look inside of your routes.php file and you don't have all of this logic going on. You just have the routes that your application is using, and then it maps it to a controller and a method. This is a great way of managing your code, and I hope you can see the power in this. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to post it below the video, but I will see you in the next video where we are going to go over a lot more.